Brinkmanship involves a strategy by which a country, a political leader, or a negotiation partner threatens to take serious action, such as war, immediate supply stop, or other extreme measures to achieve a desired outcome. The goal is to get the opposing side to back down or make concessions by creating a sense of urgency or instability. The term was first used during the Cold War to describe U.S. foreign policy. Brinkmanship can also refer to a negotiating strategy in which one party deliberately raises the stakes or makes extreme demands to pressure the other party to make concessions. This approach is often used in high-stakes negotiations, such as international diplomacy or business deals, where the parties have significantly different positions or one party has more power. The aim is to get the other party to compromise or make concessions by increasing the potential cost of not reaching an agreement. One of the best-known examples of brinkmanship is the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962, during which the U.S. threatened to go to war with Cuba after the Soviet Union built missile sites on the island. The U.S. demanded that the Soviet Union dismantle the missiles and threatened to attack if they did not. The Soviet Union also threatened countermeasures, which escalated the situation further. In retrospect, you could say that the world was on the brink, or edge of, World War III. Ultimately, the sides backed down and a devastating escalation was avoided. The Iran-Contra-Affair of 1986 was a scandal in which members of the U.S. government illegally sold arms to Iran to free hostages held by pro-Iranian groups in Lebanon. The problem was that the U.S. banned the sale of arms to Iran. The money from the sale was illegally used to support a paramilitary group in Nicaragua called the Contras. The Iran-Contra affair is an example of brinkmanship, as the U.S. government had put itself in a difficult position by trying to free hostages held by pro-Iranian groups. To achieve this, the government threatened to sell weapons to Iran to secure the release of the hostages. This threat was an attempt to pressure the pro-Iranian groups to release the hostages. Supporting the Contras was also a threat to securing U.S. influence in Nicaragua. Although the Iran-Contra affair was ultimately a scandal because the government acted illegally, it shows how brinkmanship can be used as a negotiating strategy to achieve a desired outcome. An example of brinkmanship in business is the so-called price war strategy. Here, companies try to force their competitors out of the market by lowering their prices. Then, they threaten to lower their prices further to make their competitors lower theirs or exit the market. This strategy can lead to a spiral in which companies get deeper and deeper into the red to keep their market position. One example is the price war between supermarkets in the US and Europe in the 1990s. Supermarkets began lowering their prices to attract customers. Other supermarkets also had to lower their prices to remain competitive. These price cuts reduced profits and worsened the financial situation of many supermarkets. This example shows how brinkmanship can be used as a negotiation strategy in business to gain a competitive advantage. Still, it can also harm companies and the industry. What we like to call the gun to the head tactic is used in some negotiations to persuade the other party to back down. For example, a supermarket chain might threaten to clear all the shelves of a particular supplier if they insist on a specific price increase. The talks between the supermarket chain Tesco in the UK and food supplier Unilever are examples of this in recent years. Sometimes the supplier uses this tactic by threatening to discontinue supplying materials or goods until a satisfactory outcome of the negotiations has been reached. Brinkmanship, i.e. the threat of a dangerous action to achieve a desired result, always carries the risk of escalation and unforeseen consequences. This risk is often referred to as the danger of the abyss. This is because when both sides start making threats and hardening their positions, a spiral of escalation can quickly occur, eventually leading to an uncontrolled and undesirable situation. There is always the danger that the threats will be put into action and a catastrophe will result. Thus, it is paramount to note that brinkmanship is a risky and controversial strategy. There are alternative methods to achieve goals that are less risky and destabilizing. Therefore, it is important to carefully consider the risks and possible impacts of brinkmanship before deciding to use it.